The next presentation will be given by Mirai. Mirai, please come up to the stage. The theme of their presentation is Unlocking Tokyo's Mirai, Bridging Youth to the Real World. Please begin.
Hi, I'm Miho.
I'm Shinpei.
I'm May.
And I'm Shu.
We are
Mirai. Ladies and gentlemen, please take a look at the photo on the left. It is a tiny model of a desk with plants on it. Isn't it cute? Well, I actually made it during my architecture firm internship I had over the summer. Now wait, how did a regular high schooler like myself get an internship, you may ask? Well, take a look at the photo on the right. It is a photo of our class bulletin board. In it, posters with the words like, "Join our team" and "internship opportunities" stand out. This is because our school actively promotes extracurricular activities like the one I did. Now, through my internship, I was able to become more confident in my career decision-making, connect with people in the industry of my field of interest, and ask about their real-world experiences. However, we do recognize how privileged of a position I'm in and how uncommon these experiences are. This is why we want to normalize these experiences for students across Tokyo.
Considering all of this, let's move on to a study by Komazawa Women's University on Japanese students. It highlights how limited options and unclear meaning behind studies leads to motivation in these students. We believe these effects are much more prevalent on students in Tokyo for two reasons. One, high competitiveness due to the large number of students. And two, with Tokyo being the political and economic center of Japan, the stakes are much higher for these students to lead Japan.
But to find out the honest opinion of how other high schoolers think about this specific topic, I decided to ask a personal friend of mine that goes to a public school. It turns out she was quite surprised that I do extracurricular activities at all, because for them, so much of their life is centered around studying. We think that this shows how distant the idea of extracurricular activities can be for young people in this day and age.
Our aim is to unlock the full potential of students in Tokyo by providing them with experiences directly correlated to their future career decision-making.
To achieve this, we propose connecting students in Tokyo with meaningful career experiences through Project Mirai. It is a platform where students can find and apply to internships offered by a multitude of companies in Tokyo. This will take place on our website. Students of high school age can create an account, explore opportunities by selecting their needs, and apply directly from there. Let's take a look at our friend Shinpei, for example. First, he will scroll through a comprehensive list of majors, including scientific research, marketing, consulting, and even more. There, he will select architecture, his growing passion. And since he wants a thorough understanding of the occupation and has a flexible schedule during his summer break, he will choose a one-week internship with active contribution. From there, the website will connect Shinpei with companies that can provide him with the experience he wants. Now, what separates this project from pre-existing career recruiting structures is that every opportunity listed on our website meets our standard, the 3 C's: choice, connection, and contribution. These 3 principles ensure every internship to be truly meaningful in building a better Tokyo.
First is choice. Students can choose what they're interested in. They can choose how long and how deep they want to be involved. This flexibility makes internships both accessible and empowering for students.
Secondly, students gain connection. Rather than silently observing the workplace, we ensure that students get a chance to speak directly with professionals, receive frequent feedback, and actively discuss their career path. This makes internships into something more personal and enables students to envision their future in the workplace more clearly.
Lastly, contribution. There's a limit to what can be learned from simply watching or repeating meaningless tasks. Students need to be allowed full participation and proper contribution in order to experience what it feels like to actually work.
Okay, Now moving on to why this is possible in Tokyo. 3 factors: student talent, startups, and a strong Japanese economy. First, on student talent. We are the home to 300,000 high schoolers with amazing academic records, including the highest scores on standardized testing. These statistics prove that these students are intelligent and are looking toward the future, but their potential is yet to be fully uncovered beyond academics. Next, on startups. Tokyo is a growing platform for innovative startups. With over 3,000 firms, we rank 10th in the world for this. By connecting students to these startups, we are letting them experience what it feels like to participate at the forefront of Japanese society. And lastly, Tokyo alone has a large economy. It takes up 20% of the national GDP. This proves that we have the capital necessary to fund internship programs.
This program benefits both the students and the companies. As students, we provide fresh perspective and an extra workforce. The companies provide us with career guidance and experiences and opportunities. Therefore, both parties benefit by receiving new ideas from each other. This program will lead to students increasing motivation to study, developing initiative and leadership skills, and in the future, raise job satisfaction rate. We see this effect in the United States already. In the US education system, college applications place heavy emphasis on passion projects like independent research and internships. This is what allows the US to be home to such a high number of successful global startup companies. Their encouragement of passion through the means of internships and passion projects leads to innovation. And this is what we want to replicate here in Tokyo.
To summarize, students will be much more motivated once they know what their passions are. And to encourage the exploration of such passions is to encourage exploration at a much higher level, innovation as adults in their respective fields.
But why bring these new ideas to Tokyo and not anywhere else? Just in the past few decades, the number of schools focusing on international education has increased dramatically. Even if you look at the entire country, Tokyo is home to the largest group of schools that are invested in this new standard. And this trend isn't limited to high schools either. Middle schools and elementary schools are also starting to change the way they view education to a much more global perspective. And a trend that is becoming increasingly common is the addition of an international course alongside Japanese courses. And in these courses, students engage in English taught classes and are encouraged to take on extracurricular activities, such as competitions. In any case, these schools are promoting English and global education as part of reasons why students should choose these schools. In short, high schools in Tokyo are already invested in the global standard, and this makes Tokyo the perfect place for us to make a change.
Beyond high school, Tokyo offers many excellent institutions where students can further pursue their interests. Examples include prestigious universities like the University of Tokyo, Keio University, Sophia University, and many more. It is rather a matter of choosing the right path for yourself in high school. In fact, such institutions are becoming increasingly popular outside of Tokyo for its high-quality education, popular culture, and safe living environment. A recent trend of an increase in the number of foreign students in Japan suggests that Tokyo's universities are already standing on a global platform. So why not bring this to high schools as well?
Finally, and most importantly, Tokyo sets the standard. Having seen the changes that Tokyo has introduced, other prefectures see Tokyo as a guide to bring a change to their own community. For example, the installation of AED devices in the early 2000s and making high school tuition free. These are examples of changes that Tokyo has pushed forward, which other prefectures saw, started implementing, or at least started considering. This, we think, is the power that Tokyo has, the ability to become the beacon that leads the entire nation. So let Tokyo be the starting point. Starting from Tokyo, we make the experiences that we value accessible to every high school student nationwide.
But in the end, why should we care about any of this? Matter of fact, why do we care? The answer is simple. It is because we are the youth, we are the future, and we are Tokyo. We want to inspire every youth to walk boldly into tomorrow. We were Mirai, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Neusteinen, would you like to ask a question to the unit, please?
Yes, first of all, thank you so much for your great presentation. If you were given a chance to start this project tomorrow, what would be the first concrete steps that you would take, the first 3 steps that you would take?
Thank you for the question. So as the first step, what we would like to do is contact all the companies that us peers and our senpais have already went to, like the companies, right? Our biggest factor of this program is that it is based on alumni connection. So people in the past who have already experienced what it feels like to have an internship can contact those companies and ask if they're interested in these programs. This makes it much more realistic and the first step easier.
So we want to include companies that we already have, we and like other students have experienced this. So we want to include those companies that already have those established connections, so we can assure the 3 C's that we talked about in our presentation.
For example, some of the examples of extracurricular activities that I've taken part in include the Minato City district. I've interned at a city governor at Minato City, and also I've taken part in the Tokyo University Research Lab, researching about concrete, for example. So these examples, and many other examples as well, that we have in our alumni network and our existing network, we want to introduce these ideas to our program so that we have a wide array of choices that we can prepare for the students. That would be our first step.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. You already mentioned the alumni network. How would you keep the alumni network active? What means would you have for that to keep it going?
Thank you for the question. I think, so as they were mentioning, we will start with people we're personally connected to, such as in our own school,広尾学園. And I think to keep it going, people who join our program as high schoolers, once they graduate, can also include their connections after they graduate, for example, in university or occupations they gain after that. So I think it's like an ongoing live system of expanding community.
And in our community, in our school, we have frequent opportunities to meet with our seniors, meet with our peers, even after we graduate. And these opportunities in school and outside of school, it does not matter. We can meet with them and discuss about these opportunities. And since we already have those opportunities available, I think we can keep these alumni network going even after graduation.
So you might like host events with people who graduated using our program and let people connect.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your answers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. A big round of applause. And please return to your seats. The next presentation will be given by Planet Harmony. Planet Harmony, please come up to the stage. The theme of our presentation is For a Stable First Level. Please begin.
For a Stable First Level by Planet Harmony. When you think of the most important thing for the future of Tokyo, what do you imagine? Is it more landmarks or more entertainment? While I do think those things are all important, I believe there are other things to do before we get to all those things, and it is to build a stable first level. There's this thing called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This was first conceived by the American psychologist Abraham Maslow, who separated all the needs a human has into 5 different levels. And each level must be met before moving on to the next one. The first level is called physiological needs. The second is called safety and security. The third level is called love and belonging. The fourth level are the needs of esteem. And then the fifth and final level is called self-actualization. I believe many people in Tokyo are probably trying to meet the fourth or fifth level of need. However, I believe Tokyo as a whole is still on the very first level. Japan's food self-sufficiency rate is only at 38%. And if we only count Tokyo's food self-sufficiency rate, then the amount is actually so low that it is basically 0%. This is what I mean by Tokyo doesn't have a stable first level. I propose a new agricultural solution using cutting-edge technology called vertical farming to solve this. Vertical farming builds up to save space, and if you build it either up on water or over water, like these two pictures, we can save even more space. So let me give you some more background information on vertical farming. I first got this idea from Singapore, which is a country that is in a similar predicament to Tokyo. I used to live in Singapore for about 6 years, and during my stay there, I learned about this thing called Singapore Green Plan 2030. It launched in 2021, and it aims to advance Singapore's national agenda on sustainable development. Singapore is depending on imports for 90% of its food and many other resources, notably water. According to the 1962 Water Agreement, Singapore can pump up to 250 million gallons of water from Malaysia through the Johor-Singapore Causeway, which is a vital lifeline of Singapore. This is where the Singapore Green Plan 2030 comes in. One of the goals for Singapore Green Plan 2030 is called 30 by 30. To prepare for when the global food supply encounters a hiccup, Singapore aims to raise its food self-sufficiency rate to 30% by 2030. And they aim to do the same with water as well, in order to have a stable first level. Singapore is doing this by embracing innovation, by building tall towers that houses plants on the inside, and using drones and sensors, they aim to produce crops efficiently. This is Sky Greens, the pioneer for vertical farming in Singapore. It is 6 meters tall and has 22 to 26 troughs, all rotating around the frame thanks to the gravity-aided water pulley system. By doing this, Sky Greens has managed to give all the plants uniform sunlight, good wind flow, and even irrigation, thus making it for a reliable harvest. This is the full view of Sky Greens with all the systems lined up. If we implement these sorts of technologies in Tokyo, then we can raise its food self-sufficiency rate. But wait, I know what you may all be thinking. Why does Tokyo have to do it? I'll admit, the food self-sufficiency rate itself isn't really a big problem for Tokyo, as it can import food from other countries and other prefectures. However, that isn't the problem I want to solve with vertical farming. Because of the long distance the food has to travel, Tokyo has very high food mileage. In fact, Japan has the highest per capita food mileage, and Tokyo is a very good example of this. To reduce the carbon footprint we have made on this planet, and to make a greener planet, we should focus on reducing this food mileage. In addition, conventional agriculture uses vast amounts of water and can cause pollution through chemical pesticides and fertilizers. So we're harming our green earth through it. So now let's talk about some of the benefits of vertical farming. Well, firstly, before we get to that, I'm going to clarify by saying that I am only talking about vertical farming for leafy greens here. However, even if it's limited to greens, there are still many, many benefits to vertical farming. For example, Since all the plants are housed on the inside, it is not as prone to get damaged by external factors like the conventional method is. By using drones and sensors to strictly monitor the plants, we can eliminate these things from happening, thus making it for a reliable and consistent harvest. Sky Greens uses a special method called flooding method to irrigate and fertilize the plants. By using this, Sky Greens has managed to only require electricity equivalent to 160-watt light bulb, which is only 3 Singapore dollars a month on electricity. And in addition, for water, one of these systems only require 500 milliliters of water per system. And most of this water is actually cycled back to the plants over and over again so that it can be reused for irrigation. 70% of the total water used in the world is for agriculture. But since in vertical farming, it only uses 5% of what conventional farming uses, we can significantly reduce the amount of water that we use for agriculture. In addition, vertical farming can produce 5 times the yield of conventional farming. By having 5 times the yield, we can reduce the amount of electricity we use. And like I said, we reuse the water as well, so we can reduce the amount of water we use for agriculture, thus doing all 3 R's. Also, with a shorter food distance, we can reduce the food mileage. The transportation sector accounts for 25% of the global greenhouse gas emissions, and so reducing this food mileage will mean a lot for the climate. Having a farm in Tokyo leads to food safety and security. Tokyo will be effective as a model for urban disaster prevention and environmentally friendly urban development. So as you've heard, the pros of vertical farming outweigh the cons of switching from conventional farming. There's an initiative in Tokyo called Sustainable High City Tech Tokyo, or Sushi Tech Tokyo for short. Sushi Tech Tokyo aims to use cutting-edge technology and innovative ideas to solve common issues and create a more sustainable world. I believe that Tokyo is the perfect place to do this because of the density of population and facilities in Tokyo. Thanks to this, we are able to effectively use the industry, academia, government collaboration to build brand new inventions. However, there is a problem to this, and it is that these initiatives aren't being known. No matter how many great ideas the universities or facilities may have, if they aren't put to good use, then that won't make a difference in the world. This is where Sushi Tech Tokyo comes in with a project called Tokyo Bay ESG Project, which works as a hub to connect all the facilities in Tokyo so that they can communicate well with each other. So what can I do? There's little I can actually do as a high school student on this matter. However, I want to raise awareness. That is why I am taking this space to tell you all about this. By participating in these contests and talking about this, I can help raise awareness. And in a few years, I would like to be one of the ones innovating these vertical farming and these great innovations. For future generations, we should all strive to leave the world better than it is now. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. And now, Mr. Wolf, would you like to ask a question to the unit, please?
Thank you so much for your presentation. Excuse me. You mentioned that you're focusing really on leafy green vegetables. Yes. Would it be possible to expand the amounts or the types of vegetables grown in the future? And do you think that's desirable?
I think it is very desirable to have other vegetables as well. I mentioned leafy greens because that is the thing that Singapore is focusing on, and so it was a good example. However, right now in Japan, the population of farmers is decreasing, and also aging as well. So it is only a matter of time until there aren't many farmers left, even if there are farmlands. And so I believe it is important to have young people involved in farming through things like vertical farming, where there are a lot of technology involved. Yes, thank you.
Thanks. So you mentioned farmers outside of Tokyo. What effect do you think the transition to vertical farming would have on them?
Well, I believe maybe there could be like a reduction in people who actually do farming the traditional way. However, I still do believe there is some level of need for farming that isn't by vertical farming or in Tokyo. As in Japan, there's a very rich climate, and so there are some vegetables that, thanks to that, it actually has a different taste or a different flavor that people actually enjoy and still value. So I believe while there may be some decrease in the population, because it is already decreasing right now, I do not believe there will be a very big difference for people outside of Tokyo who are doing farming.
Okay, thank you. And what do you see as the biggest challenge to starting up vertical farming, and how might that be addressed?
I think the biggest problem may be, like I said, raising awareness, because, well, not many people, I'm sure, know about vertical farming and how it exists, and I'm sure not many people even see Japan's food self-sufficiency as a problem. And so I think getting people to be involved in innovating those things may be a problem. So that is a thing I think I'll need to focus on with like advertising, or maybe when I go into those companies or universities later on in my life, maybe I want to be proactive in using these initiatives and say from me that like, I want to do this, I want to use these initiatives, I want to connect with these companies or universities and do this.
Great, thank you so much for your answers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Everyone, a big round of applause. The next presentation will be given by Merak. Merak, please come up to the stage. The theme of our presentation is A Day in the Life, a first small step towards an inclusive Tokyo. Please begin.
My unit name is Merak. When I imagine the future of Tokyo, I picture a city where every child feels safe, accepted, and supported. Even children who find it difficult to attend school can still connect with others, continue learning their own way, and feel confidence about who they are. But to understand why this vision matters, we first need to look at today's Tokyo. In Japan, students attend school for 12 years, and 9 of those years are compulsory. Because everyone moves forward at the same pace, there is little flexibility for different learning styles. When this system combines with social and cultural pressure, some children begin to feel left behind and lose motivation. And in some cases, stop going to school altogether. In Japanese, students who are unable to attend school for long periods call futoko. I was once one of them. When I was in junior high school, one day I simply stopped going to school. There was no clear reasons and no single big event. My body just would not move, and I could not explain why. In those days, I stayed home every day, feeling anxious and unsure about what tomorrow will bring. However, when I entered high school, I met teachers who truly tried to support me. Through their kindness, I gradually began to feel that Tokyo could become a city where no one is left behind. Today, Tokyo already has many systems to support Tokyo students. For example, they are called small step room where students can study or talk with teachers and counselors. And there are also virtual learning platforms that allow children can study from home. At first, I thought this meant Tokyo was already doing enough. But an education advisor later told me something important. She said, it is not only about creating support. It is about making sure all children can actually teach it. This made me realize there is a gap between having support and teaching support. In Tokyo, there are nearly 40,000 Tokyo students. Among elementary and junior high school students, around 30% are not connected to any learning places. It still means thousands of children are still isolated at home. Can you imagine how lonely they must feel? I believe helping this 30% is one of the keys to the future of Tokyo. So, how can we connect isolated children to learning and society again? To think about this question, I began looking at something that many young people already use every day. Social media. On platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, some Tokyo students shared short day in the life vlog. When I was staying home, I watched these videos well. In fact, I had a chance to speak with a girl who posts vlog. She told me she first began sharing her daily life because she wondered, am I the only one who cannot attend school? Through posting vlogs, she discovered other Tokyo and could build new friendships. From this experience, I began to imagine a new support project for the future of Tokyo. I would like to propose creating a Tokyo-based social media account called Today With Me. On this platform, children attending alternative learning spaces, youth centers, and community spaces could share short day in the life vlog. By showing what their daily experiences look like, these videos could help children staying home imagine what these places are like and feel more comfortable taking their first step outside. To support this project, both young people and adults could play an important role. University student volunteers could help manage the account and edit content as they understand social media and can communicate in ways that feel natural to younger students. Adults could provide guidance to ensure the spaces remain safe and responsible. In the future, I would also like to contribute by helping connect children to this platform and sharing information about alternative learning spaces. To make this idea practical, this project could develop in 5 simple steps. First, Tokyo Metropolitan Government will establish official social media platform dedicated to supporting Tokyo. Second, university student volunteers will be carefully recruited and trained to provide peer support and edit content for the account. Third, children with Tokyo experience will be asked to take short videos of their day. Fourth, volunteers will then visit alternative learning spaces to edit short day in the life vlogs with the children. Finally, each post will include links to free schools, youth centers, and community spaces so that children can explore their social media pages and can choose to visit when they feel ready. Additionally, I would include links to a site that introduces various existing support systems in Tokyo. Furthermore, all vlogs will be gathered under a single hashtag so that children can easily find them in one place. Recently, I saw what the connection could look like when I visited youth centers called D-Labo in Bunkyo World. They are both Futoko and non-Futoko spending their time freely in a calm and welcoming spaces. Seeing this made me imagine a child quietly scrolling at home and watching one of these shared moments and beginning to feel that stepping outside might be possible. However, not all Futoko are returned to learning places right away. For some, even entering a classroom can feel overwhelming. Youth centers and community spaces could become gentle first steps, helping children slowly reconnect with others and with learning. If social media connect children to places like this, it can become pathway back to real-world connection. For this idea to work, privacy and emotional safety must be carefully protected, with thoughtful management and cooperation between adult and university volunteers. These kind of systems could help change how Futoko are seen in society. While preparing for this presentation, I spoke with many people and listened to their stories. One staff member at the private preschool told me something I will never forget. She said, even young children carry school somewhere in their hearts. They never truly stopped caring about it. Many slowly regain their confidence when ready, choose to return. And some children are quietly hoping for the chance. My point is that deciding whether Futoko is good or bad, or the alternative learning spaces are right or wrong. What truly matters is Tokyo's support systems can reach every child who needs them, ensuring that no one is left behind. The support is shared in this way. It does not end with one child. It is passed on, creating a sustainable cycle of empathy and care. I hope we can create a city where every child can find a place to belong. A city where children can move forward at their own pace. And a city, the support given today is passed on someone else tomorrow. This is the future of Tokyo. I hope becomes a reality. Thank you for listening. I'm Tomonase.
Thank you very much. And now, Mr. Yoshida, would you like to ask a question to the unit, please?
Thank you very much. It was a very good presentation. I liked it very much. And I like your idea of getting all the different kinds of children together using social networks and other social media and so forth. Well, one question that I do have, however, is what is the role of the school, the regular school, in the system that you're thinking of?
In my opinion, the schools has many options. So, for example, I join the club and I can meet the teachers and I can communicate with different situations person, kind of my classmate and my senior. We can experience a lot of things in the school. So this is the school's role.
Mm-hmm. Do you think how difficult do you think that these children that you're talking about will be able to connect with the schools that they maybe originally went to or are supposed to be going to, at least from the point of view of educational system here in Japan? What kind of a difficulty do you think they will experience in connecting again with the school system?
Connecting school system. So it does mean the connecting school system, how to connect the school system.
Connect the school system with the type of children that you're talking about.
School system type.
Right, the Futoko children and these other children who are connecting with each other through vlog and other kinds of social media. And I see the benefits of all of that, and I think it's wonderful. But then, don't they have to go back to school somehow? Or is that not necessary anymore?
Going school is necessary or not? Thank you for asking. So I think school is necessary for us. However, some children might feel difficult to attend it. So, so to support these kind of children, there are many support systems in Tokyo, and they can learn other. It's not the learn space is not only school, but also other spaces can learn. So, Liana, could you?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh,
All right. Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you very much. Everyone, a big round of applause. The next presentation will be given by Tokyo Unshaken. Tokyo Unshaken, please come up to the stage. The theme of her presentation is One City, No One Left Behind. Please begin.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sakura from Tokyo Unshaken. 1 in 3. This is a number that changed how I see the city. According to NHK, in the Great East Japan's earthquake, 1 in 3 foreign residents could not access to life-saving information, and yet they were surrounded by cows. Imagine this. If an earthquake strikes Tokyo right now, would you know where to go and what to do? Those of you in this room probably have some idea. But for the hundreds of thousands of people who did not grow up in Japan, they have absolutely no idea. My curiosity to this topic deepened when I witnessed this problem firsthand. My close friend, an exchange student from Argentina, always confident, someone who handled the pressure very well, stood frozen during the school fire drill. Not from the fear, but from the confusion. That moment stayed with me. If she were lost in simple fire drill, with no real danger, with teacher right there, what would happen to her in real disaster? Tokyo is home of over 600,000 foreign residents, and more than 25 million people visit each year. At the same time, experts warn that there is 70% chance of major earthquake striking Tokyo within the next 30 years. Tokyo is more international than ever, but this raises a critical question. How prepared are these people really? To answer this question, I surveyed 53 foreigners from 18 countries living in or visiting Tokyo. The results were surprising. Over 67% did not know what to do and over 77% couldn't understand Japanese at all, even one single word. And surprisingly, 96% of them had no evacuation app on their phone, with 1/3 not even knowing such an app existed. Well, the number alone did not tell the full story. One responded, "My friends tell me different things. Some says go under the table. Others says to go to high grounds. I'm honestly so confused about what I'm actually supposed to do." Another wrote, "In Korea, we go high grounds, but the rule might be different in Tokyo. I just don't know. When an earthquake strikes, I would probably panic." First person has the information, and yet they're still confused. Second person knows the risk, but not the rules. So perhaps this is not just a language problem. It goes much, much deeper than that. So you might wonder, why does this gap exist anyways? We first need to acknowledge the important work that has already been done. Apps like safety tips and Tokyo disaster prevention apps are already providing such a valuable information. And yet, there is still a critical gap remains between providing information and ensuring safety for each individual. My survey reflects this. Even those who had information, they were still confused about what to do. So the problem isn't just access. It is clarity, context, and guidance. That's why I came up with Tokyo Disaster Project, an app that is specifically designed for foreigners to guide them safely during the disasters. Well, let's go dive into the 5 key features that we have. Feature 1 will answer the first question every foreigner would ask. Where do I go in the moment of disaster? When the moment of disaster strikes, the app will automatically activate emergency mode and locate you in real time. And after that, it will pose up a map of every nearby shelters. Once you choose the shelters, the active navigation kicks in. Every step of the way, the app is walking with you. Finding the shelter is one thing, but finding the right one is another thing. Step 2 will let you filter every shelter by status: open, crowded, and full. Moreover, it allows you to understand what each shelter offers. For example, food, water, religious accommodations, and dietary needs, and English-speaking stuff, etc. Feature 3 will two shelters nearby, compare them, and choose the one that works best for you. Feature 3 will answer the completely different questions. Let's say you are on the building. You might wonder, what am I supposed to do in this exact situation? In this case, it will give you your immediate actions and your next step and what you never do, all related to your exact situation. Feature 4, of course, the language. Every button, every instruction, every alert is in the language you can understand. So you will never encounter a single word you cannot understand. But this app, it doesn't stop there. Let's say you arrived at Shibuya Elementary School. You might wonder, why elementary school? Is it even safe? What am I supposed to do inside elementary school? This feature is called the AI Cultural Translator. It will answer just like this. In Japan, elementary schools are official government-designed evacuation shelters, equipped with emergency supplies and trained staff. Not just word, a context. Feature 5 is what makes everything else possible. This app is fully offline since every data is pre-downloaded and they have the low battery mode just like that. So it will switch to simplify mode. And so with one app, one life is protected. Right now, I have turned my concept idea into working prototype. Yet, right now, my next step is to build this into fully functionalized app that can launch to a real world. So at the same time, I still don't have the knowledge and expertise for the technical issues. So my next step is to present this project to engineers and technical companies to collaborate and to make this happen in reality. Well, full benefit. With this app is launched, a tourist, they will know exactly where to go. The elderly people and those that have disabilities, they will know the route that exactly works for you. And those who have dietary needs, no worries. They will exactly know that there's food that they can eat. So there will be no waste time finding the right shelters. This app will turn into a family of apps in the future. Right now, it is just a tourist app. But in the future, I'm trying to expand it into inclusive app. And in the future, the turning into citywide safety network. Tokyo is already a great city. It is inclusive, innovation, resilience, and forward thinking. But the Tokyo that I want to live in as an adult will not be defined by what it has achieved. It will be defined by one question. When the worst happens, who does this city protect? My answer is everyone, regardless of age, disabilities, or backgrounds. Everyone can feel safe because I don't want to give anyone up. This is the Tokyo I envision, a city where no one is left behind when it matters the most. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, Ms. Aitkenhead, would you like to ask a question to the unit, please?
Thank you so much for your presentation. I really enjoyed it, and I love the name of your team, Tokyo Unshaken.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask you, so I'm representing the US Embassy in Tokyo, and as part of the embassy, we are responsible for the safety of many Americans who are living or visiting Japan. I understand that it will take a little while for this kind of app to be developed, but I wonder if you have advice for us. What can we do before your app is available to help Americans and other people in Japan stay safe?
Thank you so much for the question. Firstly, I will try to make this app into the real world as soon as possible, but until then, there already is platforms like Safety Tips and Tokyo Disaster Prevention app already exists in the world. So maybe we can use that information to understand, firstly, before coming into Japan, to have a basic knowledge, minimum knowledge of how to protect yourself from the disaster before you come here. So maybe until my app will be released, maybe that's something that we can do. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I also use Safety Tips and also Yurekuru. But I really liked the idea that you have of introducing some cultural context to the app. And I wonder if there are any other features that you plan to have in your app that will make it different from anything that exists right now.
Thank you so much. I think right now what other apps have is they only provide you the information. So they just give you the basic knowledge of what you should do for the what you should do when the moment disaster strikes. Yet that is not really personalized. So usually people will be really panicked when the moment disaster strikes, right? So during that time, they will panic. So they couldn't really process each long list of the stuff that you have to do in times of crisis. So this app will be, it's AI powered, so it's fully local. It's really personalized to yourself at exact your situation. So that's, I think, something that is standing out comparing to the current apps that exist in the market. Yeah.
And just one last question. It's often difficult to make sure that people who need these apps actually take the initiative and download them. So do you have some ideas for how you would encourage people to use your app?
Yes, I actually do have idea for that. I was, I don't know if I said it earlier or not, but I was thinking to collaborate with airport and hotels. So when foreign residents or foreign visitors reaches to Japan, when they try to enter Japan in that reception center, you will be checked if you download the app and completed a short mission upon arrival in Japan. And that short mission is just like telling you what is the basic knowledge that you should know before come to Japan. And also one technology I was thinking was when you connect to Wi-Fi, because people, when they arrive at the airport, they usually connect to the Wi-Fi, right? The airport Wi-Fi. And when they connect to the airport Wi-Fi, I don't know if that's possible right now in this technology, but when they connect to Wi-Fi, it will automatically download on your phone, so that even those who didn't have, even those who are not willing to download the app will be like forced to download the app on their phone. So that was something that I was thinking about.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Everyone, a big round of applause. And please return to your seats.